Today on Mormon Times, 5 things every member should understand about pornography and solutions for finding help for those who struggle.
Teach me all that I must do.
And 600 young people participate in a first-ever youth conference in Zimbabwe. Donations from Utah help make this event a success.
My name is Elder Sasser.
And my name is Sister Sasser. And we have been called to serve our second mission in the Nashville, Tennessee mission.
Senior couples are heeding a call to serve. We'll give you the new guidelines that make missionary opportunities more accessible than ever. Good morning. Addressing the priesthood in 2005, Elder Dallin H. Oaks said, "Our bishops and our professional counselors are seeing an increasing number of men involved with pornography, and many of those are active members." Active members like Ben and Andrea Brown.
You're doing good, Em. I discovered Ben's pornography problem about a year into our marriage. My initial instincts were shock. I had no idea what it was and why it would be on the computer, and I was devastated. He went to the bishop first and talked to the bishop, and then after I went and talked with the bishop with him. And the bishop, explained it to me and Ben, and told us that, what safeguards we could take to not have it be in our home anymore. Just being aware of it is what he told us to do, just be aware of it. So that's what I tried to do for 13 years, is be aware of it. And it just resurfaced time and time again. For the 13 years that we didn't address this, I just kept going. I didn't know what else to do, so I'd be hurt, but then I would think, well, we've got these children and I've got a marriage and this family that I love, so I have to keep going with it. And we'd push it under the rug because I didn't know what to do with it, so I'd kind of sweep it away and try harder and try better to do more for him, make his life easier. I had a time where I just thought, it's just going to be easier to walk away. It's just going to be easier to do this on my own. Numerous times I felt that. So it was very sobering to realize that that's where I was headed. And I didn't really want that to happen. I'd worked too hard for that to happen. And so luckily Ben was on board and we finally found help.
You're out, Dad.
Darn it, I'm out.
I found recovery through being open with people, through sharing what I'm going with, through therapy, through women's support groups, intensive therapy weekly, and through a lot of writing, my feelings, but the biggest part was opening up to people and sharing what is happening in our family. I thought I would have to defend Ben to people, and that's partly why I didn't talk about it. I thought that I would have to say, but he's a good man and I love him and he's the father of my children and we're married and I love him. We just have this horrible thing. And I thought it would be that way, and it's been completely opposite. The people that I thought would be the most judgmental and the most harsh and the ones to push us away have been the ones who loved us the most and welcomed us with open arms and have been so understanding.
Aside from meeting with the bishop, most Latter-day Saint women say they wouldn't know where to seek help for a pornography problem. Michelle Torsak, KSL's Vice President of Programming, recently interviewed families about pornography for a documentary, and that was called Healing the Brokenhearted. And you say there are 5 things that are really, really important for Latter-day Saint families to understand about this, not just a spiritual problem.
That's right. As members of the church, we recognize that pornography is a sin, and so immediately we think about the spiritual implications, and that's critical. But pornography affects an individual fourfold. It's spiritual, mental, emotional, and relationally, those relationships. And so if an individual just goes to the bishop to confess a sin and to receive spiritual healing, they're forgetting those other parts. And so all of the couples I spoke with says it's important to get professional counseling and help through support groups and individual counseling. So that was an aha for me.
Another one is it affects the entire family, not just the user.
That's right. Most people don't know that it's more than just the act of looking at pornography. There's lying and secrecy and shame involved. And so the user distances himself from the family, and this wife sits back and says, what's going on here? You're distant from our family, you're not involved. And he says, no, everything's fine. And it affects her and the children as much as it does him.
And we are simply talking about people who are very active in the faith.
That's right. You know, when I started working on this project about a year ago, you have a stereotype in your head of who this impacts. And when I met a family like the Browns, I was amazed. They've made covenants in the temple. They're active members of the church. They have a testimony. They're just great people who are dealing with this serious problem. So I think it's important that we withhold judgment.
Very important. It is the 21st century, and there is help available.
There's great help available, and I think, you know, if I would have had a friend or a sister or somebody come to me, I would have said, well, have you talked to the bishop? But knowing what resources are available is critical, and one of the best kept secrets in the church, in fact, LDS Family Services will tell you this, is the church's 12-step addiction and recovery program. It was developed from the Alcoholics Anonymous program, and the church uses it, and boy, all of these couples that have participated in this program said it was critical to their success.
And there also has to be, however, the healing and recovery within the family, those relationships, because it's not just that one person who needs help.
That's right. But the good news is healing and recovery is possible.
Important to remember, help is available. Thank you, Michelle. Up next, access to hymns and primary tunes made easy, a new app on iTunes that will bring Latter-day Saint music to the masses, and serving the children in our communities.
What do I get out of this? I get to love these little kids.
Members in Farmington act as reading mentors at a local school. Young people from Zimbabwe recently had the opportunity to participate in an area youth conference in Harare. This is the first for this area of the world. 600 young men and young women from diverse backgrounds joined together to learn both practical and spiritual lessons at the event. Activities and classes gave the youth a chance to interact and learn from one another. Friendships were made and testimonies were strengthened. One bonus, at the conference, everyone who attended was given his or her own set of scriptures, a luxury most of the youth had never experienced. Each girl was given a skirt to wear to the dance, and each boy a tie. Many of the donated items for this conference came from kind-hearted and generous Latter-day Saints here in Utah. Primary children in the Newport Beach, California stake were treated to a rare surprise during sharing time this past month. The primary president of the University Park Ward asked Samuel Mirajovsky to build her a temple out of Legos. And boy, did he deliver. This 4-foot by 4-foot replica of the Bountiful Temple is made from more than 13,500 Lego blocks and takes several men to lift. It took Mirajovsky and his 4-year-old son all summer to build it. Earlier this fall, nearly 100 members of the Farmington, Utah stake heeded a call from their stake president and became reading mentors at Eagle Bay Elementary.
This is our school. It's one of the schools in the stake. And when we heard that there was an issue where they needed tutors, we've got wonderful people here, and the exciting thing was just to make a couple of calls, and then it all comes together.
We started out first, it was just an assignment, and of course we do what we're asked to do. But you know, you start working on it, serving, you have some wonderful people like this who serve so well, and then you realize, hey, what this is about. You know, we're helping kids. I don't know if there's anything more special we could be doing than helping kids to read.
People care so much about the people in their neighborhood, and you know, they see that if their own child will struggle with something, then they see a need and they just want to help.
I love it. If they learn to read now, they will read the rest of their lives. What do I get out of this? I get to love these little kids and help them and know that they're doing great. They're doing great.
The volunteers from Farmington are part of a group of more than 1,300 church members who are serving in similar callings at elementary schools throughout the state. A new app on iTunes will make it much easier to use music for your family home evenings or your lessons. LDS Music is a free app that allows you to browse and search the hymns and children's songbook, read the words to songs, see sheet music, and listen to accompaniments from your iPad, iPhone, or iPod Touch. This new app is currently available only in English, but will soon be available in Spanish, Portuguese, and French. Go to iTunes and search LDS Music to download this app. Once they serve one mission, many senior couples are going back to serve again.
We are very excited for this second mission.
The guidelines for senior missionary couples have recently changed. Up next, how these guidelines are making it easier than ever for senior couples to serve.
We chose to serve this mission because we feel that we have the time, the health, and the energy right now to go and serve the Lord again.
Senior couples from throughout the church are finding joy through missionary work. Many are serving multiple missions throughout the world as they discover a love for the service they provide. We caught up with one couple at the Missionary Training Center who are just beginning their second mission. It's lunchtime at the MTC in Provo. Senior couples mix and mingle with the much younger missionaries as they relax, decompress, and enjoy new friendships. Elder and Sister Sasser are in the MTC for the second time.
We had such a wonderful experience on our first mission, and so since we returned, we had planned to go on a second mission.
Their first mission was to Cambodia as part of the church educational system.
It was such a different culture than in the United States. We loved the people there. Being two kids off the farm in Idaho, we never dreamed we'd go halfway around the world to be amongst members of the church.
When we went to Cambodia, we learned that you can get by with a lot less than we do here in the United States.
You cannot believe how much you grow and learn and stretch when you're on a mission. One of the greatest things I think that we found on our mission was the closeness that we got between the two of us.
This time around, they're heading to Tennessee to work as employment specialists.
Last time when we came to the MTC, I was really, really scared. And I've been much more relaxed this time and feel like that I have more to contribute because I've gone before.
The biggest challenge facing us is to learn our duties, our roles as employment missionaries.
Leaving their family members and friends is hard. But to them, an opportunity to serve is worth the sacrifice.
It doesn't really matter where you go as long as you have an opportunity to serve.
And we believe that we could enjoy it going in almost anywhere, I think. I think we could enjoy any place, especially together.
Recently, changes to the missionary program have made it easier than ever for senior couples to serve missions. Joining me today is Elder David Evans from the Missionary Department to talk about some of those changes. So what are we talking about when we say changes?
Well, you know, Carol, there's been a series of changes that the First Presidency and the 12 have made to make missions easier for senior couples. Number one, I think the best thing is we've just decided to treat people like adults. You know, these are not 19 and 20-year-olds. These are adults who have lived their life. They've served the Lord. They're wonderful, faithful people, and we've, you know, maybe belatedly, but we're clearly on a march to treat them absolutely like adults. Secondly, and perhaps in terms of economics, one of the most interesting things is that the church has recently put a cap on housing and utility and furnishing expenses, so that no matter where in the world one is called, there's a cap of $1,400. They'll be responsible for their other incidental expenses, their groceries and, you know, cleaning and whatever else like that. But housing, which is the biggest cost, has been capped recently.
So what are we talking about? What kinds of opportunities to serve?
Oh, there are great opportunities to serve. I noticed that this couple was from the Nashville mission. My parents served in the Nashville mission many years ago. And they just went into a ward, and that's what most senior couples do, is they go into the ward and just help. They become a member of the ward. They might work on reactivation, they might work on the rescue. If they have a desire to do so, they can be assigned proselyting responsibilities. And then there's all kinds of other kinds of opportunities. There's leadership training, there's auxiliary training. One might work in an office if their skills were such that they had a desire to do that. We try to match the call to the talents and abilities of the senior couple.
You hinted about this a little while ago, but the training process, we know what these young people go through as they enter. What about the senior couples? How rigorous or not so rigorous is it for them?
Well, they get an MTC experience, but they don't have to get up as early. And they can go to bed earlier if they want also, or whatever their schedule is. They're adults, and we want to treat them as such. They do get adequate training for their assignments. So if they're going to be in an office and they need to know how to work the computer and so on, they'll get the appropriate training for that. But we try to give them the training that's applicable to their responsibility, and then let them be adults and serve.
And church leaders feel they offer something very different from what young people do.
They surely do. I know we probably don't have time, but one experience that I had is that my parents, when they went into the MTC, the MTC president, as he first spoke to them, he said, "Now listen, if your knee hurts, it's probably still going to hurt. If you got a bad ear, it's still going to be bad. But wouldn't you rather have this lifelong of experience which you're bringing and go and help people than start all over again?" And that's what they bring. They bring this lifetime of experience. And I'll tell you, they can touch lives and help young missionaries and help mission presidents and help the work in ways that young people never can.
Thank you so much for being with us, Elder Evans. And we wish you luck in finding and training those senior missionaries. Speaking of missionary work, we love highlighting our missionaries each week on this show. If you have a picture of a missionary you'd like to share, send it to us at mormontimes@ksl.com. We'll be right back with more after the break.
Far and wide we tell the Father's story, far and wide His love proclaim. Onward, ever onward, as we
Living life to its fullest means different things to different people. But for church member Jerem Fry, his definition includes accepting life's challenges with a positive attitude and outlook. Here's his story.
1, 2, 3. Because I'm an amputee, I rely a lot on technology. What matters most to me is how well I'm able to use that technology to be in the outdoors, to live life to its fullest, to be happy. Being able to do what all of my friends do, it's given me this drive and dedication to prove myself. And that's made me such a better person than I would have been without it. Sounds crazy, but I'm thankful for it. I am grateful to be an amputee. I love it. We found out that I had bone cancer, and from there it was just a whirlwind. We were rushed into the hospital, into all these tests, had no idea what to expect, what this meant, what it could imply. But we were kind of led to believe that it wasn't going to be a big deal to remove the tumor and go on living life. I was given 3 options: an artificial knee joint, a donor bone replacement, and amputation. And I evaluated the options, and I chose amputation. I got a really good phone call. I'd only been home from the hospital for one day, I think. It was my best friend. I answered the phone and he said, "Hey man, are you coming to the school dance tonight?" And I remember saying to him, I'm like, "Dude, I just lost my leg." And his reply was, "Oh yeah, I forgot. So you coming?" And from that moment, I got out of bed and I just said, "Yeah, I'm living life. I'm not gonna stop." I was told that I wouldn't be able to ride a mountain bike anymore. I really wouldn't be able to rock climb or do any of the things that mattered most to me then. But since that time, I've been able to do all those things. I've just never given up. I've never accepted that, well, you can't do this. I went and I got a job at a machine shop. And once I learned everything I could from that shop, I went and got a job in aerospace. And I started learning all about CAD design and how to put things together and really be able to create this idea that I had in my mind to the expectations that I had in my mind. I was told I would never have this again. That takes away a huge part of someone's soul. What I try to do is not just to create products that make it possible for people to get that part of their soul back, but I also try to show people that it is possible to do those things. You know, even though my body may not be normal, my mind is normal. I'm a normal guy. You can talk to me. I've been locked into the same Halloween costume now for the last 8 years or something because I built myself a peg leg and went to some party as a pirate. And ever since then, I can't do anything else. People are like, "Where's the pirate?" I'm trying to keep up with my kids is a little difficult as an amputee, but they love to make me run after them, and I'm just grateful that I can run. As a 14-year-old being told you could die at any time and watching friends that I've made in the hospital actually not show up anymore because they passed away and seeing how fragile life really is, that can be rough. That can be rough as a kid. But it taught me a lesson that I don't think I'll ever forget in my life. And when things get hard, when you just don't know where to turn and you don't have a logical answer, I have an answer that's proven itself through experience that things will be okay. God loves me and he wants what's best for me and he's mindful of all of us. And if we'll just trust him, we'll be all right. We'll be all right.
He's an inspiration to all of us. Please enjoy the rest of your Sabbath day.